Testing our mic.
Hi everyone, welcome to LA Views. I'm Amanda.
I'm Leslie.
So today it's Let's Talk About Love. Alright? Let's get a little love, yeah, I guess about chicken wow wow. Sure. Why not? So today we're going to be talking about love. The first question we have is advice on the first date.
Advice on the first date.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think we should talk about, first, how we came about this. A lot of people have asked us some love questions, and we thought it'd be cool
That's
to
true.
make an episode on love.
Yeah, a lot of people have asked us. I think in the first episode, someone asked us about dating advice, specifically. I forgot exactly, but it was about dating advice, and then throughout some of the episodes, they asked "Hey, what do you think about this?" And I'm like, So we figured, why not do a love episode? So now we're here, really quick.
Yeah, we've done ups and downs, and I think we've gone through different.
This is Sophie.
Hey.
Hi.
So things have been kind of I think we've both had very different experiences, but also very similar experiences in some ways.
Maybe. I mean, I don't think we've truly talked about it completely.
We might learn.
Yeah, we'll learn. But anyways, the first question that we came up with was advice on the first date. If you want to put it down in the comments what you think is good advice, go for it and we'll read it. Give us a few seconds. Sorry about that, guys. I didn't realize tech was doing some stuff.
We're just gonna check our sound really quick. We'll pause. We'll be right back.
Testing. 1, 2, 3. Testing.
Test.
Good. Okay. They can hear us. Hi, guys.
So we're back.
All right. So sorry about that. Thank you for everyone that has been with us and enjoying the journey and what we're doing. As for some of you that already know, my boyfriend is a streamer, so he knows all this type of stuff. And for us, we're not, and it's a whole brand new experience.
A whole new world.
Yes, it is a whole world for us, but it's okay. You are not retired. Well, at the moment, you're kind of retired, but you can get back into it. But anyways, so advice on a first date. What would be advice on a first date, in your opinion?
Okay, are we talking indoors, outdoors? Who is this person? Give me a scenario, and I will give you a date.
I didn't really think of that. Advice on a first date. I think it would be how would you want to present yourself?
Well, actually, I've got a question for you. A little twist. Okay. I'm going to throw this question back at you, actually, right now. Because you can be shy sometimes.
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know I'm shy.
So then how would you, as a shy person, what is a date that you would like? How would you ask you out?
You know what? That's kind of hard because I am shy, but at the same time, I can be in your face too.
Do you do that?
I'm in between. I'm in between. Like, I can be a social butterfly, but at the same time, I can like, I'm like, oh no, I'm just gonna stay in my bubble.
Like ambivert kind of person.
Yeah. How do you approach the first date?
Okay. Good question. Well, let's say you like someone, you see someone, you're like, oh man, I really like them. I just want to ask them out. Like, they're so cute, whatever. I think it's, first of all, start getting to see what they're into. Maybe say hi, introduce yourself, make sure that they know who you are so you don't sound like a creeper. When you come up to them, it's like, that's some random stranger asking you out.
So, advice for the first date, in my opinion, is be yourself. I think the biggest thing for me is there's a lot of guys that I've encountered where they try to be something they're not. And I don't care for that. Especially if it's just is it called a facade, right?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Especially, yeah, I don't want that. I would like them to be straightforward. I've always have, especially since I've always been straightforward. But for someone that's very, like, shy, it takes time and courage, and you need that support from other people. You're like, you can do it, because I know a couple of people are like, I'm okay, but just stay here. They can ask me, but then you never know, they might be the exact same way. So that's I feel true. Like, be yourself. Try to boost yourself up and be like, I can do this. You know, even if they say no, I can do this. So, advice to go on a first date: be yourself, and you know, if they really like you, they will go with you. And if they say, hey, this is not my thing, then they're lost.
Yeah, I think I agree, actually. I have nothing more to add to that. No, it's true, but it's just because, you know, you want to dress like yourself, just be yourself. I mean, don't be a slob either. If you're a slob, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe they might be attracted to your slobbiness. I don't know.
Well, that was a bit rude. That was a little rude. But alright. No, I don't know. For me, I just think they should be themselves and show their true colors. I mean, why? I understand you. I get it. You want to impress them. So yeah, if you want to dress nice, go for it. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. But I don't think you should hide your true personality. That's really it.
Yeah, I think also, though, make sure you get to know them a little bit before the date, because you don't want to take them somewhere that they might not like. Yeah, that they just don't enjoy.
Yeah. For a first date, get to know this person prior. Talk to them maybe for a couple days.
Yeah, I also like... I personally like places where you can actually talk. Like, if you want to do the movies, go ahead and do the movies, but make sure you leave some room for talking either before or after, because when you just go to the movies, you're just there in a dark room, don't have the opportunity to really talk much, and then if you end the date there, it's just like, oh, well, I still don't know you.
Yeah, that's true.
So some place, I recommend people to find a place where they get to talk to them for a little bit, get to know them at a deeper level, you know, ask like the basic small talk questions, like, what do you like? What
do you like? What's your favorite color? Like, you know, what do you do? Right?
Yeah, I think a good
just getting to know them, like, as a friend.
Exactly. Yes. Don't come off too strong either.
Yeah, I think getting to know them as a friend would be a very, very good thing to do, because it doesn't feel like pressure. You're like, oh, we're just friends, we're hanging out, I'm getting to know you, like, this is great. So when you're ready to say, like, hey, do you want to go out on a date? And if they do say yes, you're like, all right, great, I have an idea of what you like.
Yes, exactly.
That's how I feel.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Let's see. Have you ever done online dating?
I have not. I've talked to people online. Well, okay. I've not used apps, but maybe I've met people online, and like I've gone on dates. I guess that's technically online dating, huh? Not really. I don't know.
Kind of.
It's not an app. It's usually people Like,
okay, so
hit me up.
here, I have a story. I mean, I've never done the online dating apps, but I did date someone. It was in high school. It was my freshman year, and it was through MySpace. MySpace. It was through MySpace, and it was a skater. And we were talking a lot. I thought he was very cute, and I realized we were going to the same school because I was a freshman. He was a sophomore at the time. So I was like, cool. And he was one of the cute skaters, and I didn't expect that. And we actually got together. We dated for like 3 months. Yeah, 3 months. I realized we had nothing in common. I was just attracted to him. But that was like probably the closest thing to online dating for me. We talked a lot about his skating. We talked a lot about Disney, but I realized after we met that he wasn't really into what I was into, and I wasn't into what he was into. It was just like an attraction. That was about it.
Yeah, I think that's the trouble sometimes with online dating. So I think I would recommend, if you're gonna let's say you're trying to initiate a conversation. Let's say there's this person you're following on Instagram or something, and you've got an attraction. I would recommend, again, getting to know them. Oh, and then, don't be a creeper, but, like, if you see something that you can comment and relate to, like, maybe there's a restaurant that they went to. It's like, oh, hey, I've been there before. What's your favorite thing on the menu? Or, like, and then that begins to initiate conversation. And, if they start backing out of the conversation, just leave them be. Come back the next day. Not the next day, but, like, a couple days later. A couple days later, you see something else. It's like, oh, hey, that looks really fun. Where is that at?
Yeah.
Maybe they've got a place, or they're with their friends or something. Just be kind. You want to seem approachable too, because you also want them to, you want to catch their eye as well. So maybe
I think
allow them to come to you too.
I think the hardest thing about online dating, and from seeing other people that I know go do online dating, like, the hardest thing is actually getting to know the person, like, truly. Mm-hmm. But that can happen even just in person as well. It's never a guarantee on who you're actually going to meet, and you can't expect to know everything about them.
The struggle I hear with online dating often, though, from some of my friends is like, everyone just wants to hook up.
Yeah.
Everyone just wants to hook up. So I think if you're genuinely trying to meet someone, then just from the get-go, just let them know, don't waste my time. Like, I'm not looking to hook up. I'm actually here to get to know people.
Yeah.
And this is all you want. This is all you want. And then that's also an easier way to just kind of get out of it.
Agreed. So another one is, what do you look for? Is there a specific type? Do you, like, because I know some people have a type. Is there pretty much a type. Like, are you attracted to a specific body type, or, hair? I don't know. Sometimes it's even just, like, their personality. It depends.
What's your type? Girl, what's your type?
What's my type? I've dated a lot of people, and they're like from a bunch of different cultures. I don't think I have a specific type.
Not even like personality traits?
All the guys I've dated are very different.
Interesting.
Yeah, so like current present day, very funny, but very antisocial. Almost a complete opposite for me.
Hey, opposites attract.
No, I know. Well, we have a lot of things in common, and then we don't. It's like it's a good 50-50. It's not, right on the dot. But even though I can be antisocial, I'm more of the social butterfly out of the two. Because I'm like, let's go here, let's do that. And he's like, I'm going to stay home. And I'm like, okay, fine. But previous, Big Mama's boy. That was a no-go for me. But was a social butterfly. The other one was a huge social, a little too social. Big social butterfly, yeah. very, very loving, but ended up not being the greatest. Yeah. So, like, I don't know, they're all different. I can't, like,
You don't
be
have
like,
exactly.
like,
So,
maybe,
so it's more like you're just attracted to who you're attracted
yeah, I'm
to.
attracted to the personality.
Huh.
So, like, I think the closest thing I can say is tone guys.
Okay.
Tone, like, they're not, like, boom, they're not buff, like, in your face, but, like, their arms are toned. I would think about arms. Their arms are toned and they're lean, and all the guys I've dated have been tall. They've all been tall. I've had one gordito. The rest are not. But yeah, no, I guess lean, tall guys, like tone. Am I saying that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay. Yeah. Pretty much.
So I guess you have like more of a
Broad shoulders.
than-
Broad shoulders.
Okay.
I like broad shoulders. What about you?
I have a type. I've only dated my type once in my life, and but personality, I like people that are, yeah, like kind, respectful. I'm a really busy person, and I kind of just need like a support person there, like someone to catch me when I'm like really stressed. I need someone. Most of the guys that I've dated are like mostly they need to be social enough because I'm a huge social butterfly, but I don't expect them to be like the social one.
Like
I don't,
the over the top.
yeah, no. I think I can carry. I'm so social. I can carry enough for the two, you know. But it's like yeah, and I think definitely I will say like my very first like boyfriend like set the standard in terms of personality wise. Like if we're talking about like physical traits, like anyone that looks like Nat Wolf and like young, like or you know, but
okay.
anyways.
If we're saying that, I had a huge. No, it's still current. I had a crush on Johnny Depp, and he's especially young Johnny Depp. I had kind of guys that looked like him. I was very attracted to. So I guess I do kind of have a type.
Crush.
But any guys that were like young version of Johnny Depp, I was like, ooh, okay.
Have you seen those TikToks where it's like, oh, show like your childhood crush and the person that you're dating today?
Oh, it's complete opposite.
It's doesn't make sense to me. Does not make sense to me. But yeah, no, I think for me, I'm more about personality. I'm more about you have to be kind, be funny. You have to be able to converse. Like I like a person who can hold a conversation because I talk a lot. Clearly, that's why we're here. And yeah, so but you know, a family person because I'm really tight with my family. Yeah, and just invested. I'm pretty invested and I commit. So I do tell people right away. Like, do not be kind of going back to like the authenticity. Like, do not be someone. Don't show me the best version of yourself right away because I'm gonna expect that later on. And if you don't give that to me, then why are we here? Like, don't do it. If you can't meet it later on, then don't do it. I'm not gonna expect it from you if you didn't show it to me at the beginning.
I think for me, it's more like be yourself. I've been lied to a lot, so I'm big on honesty. And I just rather you be honest and, you know, go from there. I don't want you to hide. I know that's hard for some people, but it's just, you know, I just want the person to be them. They're good and they're bad. I want both.
Yeah.
And that's about it. Let's see. What's a perfect date in your mind?
Is this still like us?
I mean, we can ask them. I'm totally fine with asking them. Go for it.
If you guys have perfect dates in your mind, how do you all like being wooed? What's your idea of a perfect date?
What's your idea of a perfect date?
That reminds me of Miss Congeniality.
Yeah.
Like, what's your idea of a perfect date? A long walk on the beach, and I don't know what else I say.
So I guess we'll continue our conversation. But put down, what is your perfect date? What's your type? Have you ever done online dating? And what would be Yeah, what advice would you want to give someone for their first date? What's a perfect date in your mind?
How can I woo you, Amanda? Tell me.
Several scenarios.
Ooh.
So, I don't think I have one set one. If you know me, the first thing you're going to say is, let's take her to Disneyland. And yeah, that's a perfect date in my mind. I've only done that once. I've only had one person take me out as a full-on date to Disneyland.
Aww.
Before we even got together.
Aww.
Yeah. It was Mama's boy. But it's okay. It was a really good date. Kind of funny. Car got nicked by another. The person, so we were in the parking lot and they opened the door and it was a kid. It was the kid from the car. The parents were on the other side, so they didn't see it.
Oh, no.
And they hit the door and he looked at him and the kid was just he just hit it again.
Again?
Yeah, but he did it on purpose. And I was like, oh, you little shit. I was like, okay.
Wow.
I laughed though. I shouldn't have laughed, but I laughed. I thought it was funny. But pretty much that would be a perfect date in my mind. Even if you're not a fan of Disneyland, just the fact of just having fun is what I enjoy. I don't have to be. I'm not the person I need to get on every ride. No, I can go to Disneyland and hang out and go watch a show, eat ice cream, go shopping, take pictures with characters. I don't have to be on the rides. The rides aren't my priority. I've been there so many times. There's no need. I just enjoy the
environment.
Yeah, enjoying the environment and chilling out and I feel okay, you want to ride it? Okay, let's ride it. It's just so I like going relaxed. I'm not all right, get on. Oh, we have this time. I don't like those people. I'm you do you. I'm gonna just hang out. But Disneyland would be a perfect date for me. Another one would be museums. I love museums.
Yeah.
So, you said, oh, let's go to a museum and then go have lunch or have dinner, depending on how late it is.
Mm-hmm.
Another one is Broadway shows. If you said, we're going to go to Pantages, I'm down. Let's go. If you said, let's go to LA Opera and watch an opera, okay, let's do it. I know that's not common.
No, it's not.
It's not common, I'm guessing, for our age. Even our generation, it's not a common thing.
No.
Most people are you want to go watch an opera? Yes, I want to go watch an opera. But I think stuff like that. So museums, operas, Broadway shows, Disneyland.
You classy.
I would say I don't mind going to a garden or the zoo. I don't mind that. The botanical gardens. Those are really pretty. Those are things yeah, you're right. I'm kind of old fashioned.
No, that's not old fashioned. It's just it's classy. It's things we don't get to do anymore. Well, I guess old fashioned in that sense, but it's nice. It's kind of those are kind of my ideal dates as well. Not Disney though. I actually one time went with a boyfriend, an ex-boyfriend, and it was really sad. Dude and I argued in the middle of the park. It was the worst experience ever. It got made up later with someone else, which is great, but that was a terrible experience. No.
I think the issue with Disneyland is that everyone has these high expectations.
Yep.
When they go, that it becomes oh my god, I'm going to Disneyland, the most happiest place on earth. It's going to be perfect. And it's no.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, happiest place on earth, which coming from, I'm a Magic Key holder, former Word is annual pass holder. I'm both. So I've seen, and I'm a former cast member, I've seen so many people get into arguments because they had this perfect image in their mind of how their date was going to run or how they were going to get proposed to, and then they're arguing in the middle of the park and everyone's looking at them awkward.
Yeah.
And then it's okay, well, now I gotta get security involved sometimes. So yeah, I've seen that. I've seen that. But I'm just it's hard when you have this image in your head and it's not going to be that way because the park's not going to be empty. I know when it's not busy. Some people are oh, it's so busy, but it's actually not. Mm-hmm. And then there's times where it's packed and you can hardly walk. It's not. It's really hard to put that in there when you're expecting it to be a certain way.
That's true. A lot of it does. I'm sorry to say, but it does come. I don't want to get into it, but it does come from social media. There's expectations that are set. you have the iconic, like, girlfriend, boyfriend pictures and stuff. So it's like you want to go and do that because you think they're cute. But if that's not your relationship, don't build up towards it. Let it naturally happen. Yeah. And let it naturally be. I have a friend that taught me how to do that more at Disneyland, so I don't have those expectations. But anyways, I think my ideal date is, like I said, a place where we can talk. I'm also hard of hearing, so I need it to be not so loud so I can hear them. I do not, absolutely, this is just my personal rule, do not allow guys to take me to a hamburger place on the first date because I'm the messiest hamburger eater. And, like, the
Okay, so for me, that doesn't matter. You eat the way you eat. I don't care. If the guy doesn't want to accept me for the way I eat, you're lost.
Okay, I like burgers.
Like, I'm okay with it. I'm a messy eater myself. I mean, I'm not gonna be like, like, I get that, but I mean, I'm not the cleanest eater either. But I mean, you have manners. I've seen you eat. You're fine.
I like my burgers with eggs. It's burgers. It's mostly burgers. I like my burgers with eggs, so it gets runny and it just drips all over down my chin. It's not the cutest thing ever.
See, I don't care about that.
But I'll be wearing, like, a cute outfit and I don't want to mess it up.
See, okay, so that's the two sides. So if you're a person that's very self-conscious about what you're doing and how you're eating, then yeah, I can see you might be a little bit more petite than usual, or you'll pick a eatery that you know that will involve a fork and a knife, and it'll be easier to eat, and it won't be as, it won't be as messy. You're avoiding it. You're avoiding that conflict. But once you're together, you're gonna hide that forever. That's why in my mind it's, just let it be. Let you do you. Like, I think we can get into this later, but the way I've approached guys, it's much, I don't know, I think I'm hard-headed, or I'm very bold.
I think you're realistic. I think you're realistic. I'm a romantic. I'm like, oh my god.
See, and
you're more
like
realistic. You're more realistic, and I think that's great. That's how you date,
Yeah, no, I've approached guys, and I'm like, you like me? Yeah. Alright, cool. You want to date? Yeah, sure. Or they'll be intimidated. They're like, because the girl asked.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if you can't handle me asking you that, then it ain't gonna happen. Because I'm not gonna lie, I've given guys a chance to ask me, because I already know they like me, and it's obvious. And I've waited. But I'm not that girl that's gonna wait
forever.
5 months later.
No.
No. I'm going to be like, hey, bro, do you like me or not? Nah? Alright, it's cool.
Value yourself.
I can't do that. and I've had guys tell me, oh, I can't be with the girl that asked me out. Oh, okay. Why? Well, then that's your issue. It's your masculinity, not mine. So I don't care. I'm just like, if you like me, we good. If you don't, it's okay. If it doesn't work out, it's fine. Like, you do you. Whether it hurts me or not, I gotta get over it. You gotta get over it. Whatever it may be. That's why I like... I don't know. I like the honesty. But yes, there are people that are very like, woo me. And I'm like, no. I mean, I'll woo you like that.
Yeah, no, I'm very romantic. But in terms of, like, in terms of dates, though, coming back to dates,
sorry, I got off topic.
No, you're good. I like, no, yeah, just a place to be able to chat. I really like adventures, like exploring. So, I had a date once, all in downtown LA, just explore downtown LA and go to different places we hadn't been to. Like, we went to, like, Echo Park, the little swan duck things they have around there. Then we went to, like, the US Bank Tower. Then we went around to, like, a restaurant in downtown LA. We went to the Broad. A lot of little things, like, around there. And we tried, like, different shops. Like, they have a lot of mom and pop shops down there.
Yeah.
So that was fun. That was an adventure. I like adventurous things. I'm just an adventurous person. Another date I had this one was really cool. And I'm going to share it because it was really cool. And I think people should do this. I'm really into photography. Yeah. And this person knew this about me because they get to know your date before you take them on the date. And so we went down the Pacific Coast Highway, all the way from, like, what is it, Oxnard? Whatever? I don't know. Camarillo? I don't know. But, like, the start of, like, the very tip of the Pacific Coast Highway. And then we drove all the way down, and we took, he got me a disposable camera. We both had disposable cameras. and we took pictures of everything we thought was beautiful that day. And then at the end of it, like, we got to have the cameras and the memories. Still have not developed those photos. But
so I like the exploring aspect only because, so for example, the guy I'm currently with, I never knew the Asian culture at all. And we went into we went and explored, he's been there, to Little Tokyo, and I've never been there. I've seen Chinatown, I've driven by it, but I've never been in there. Koreatown, like, I got to explore a whole other culture that I wasn't expecting. I saw a whole nother culture I did not know, or, you know anything about, really. I was very sheltered in that sense. Like, for those of you that don't know, I'm Cuban. I'm mixed. I'm Cuban Dutch, but I grew up in the Cuban culture, so I know everything. Like, my aunt and uncle are from El Salvador, so like my other tia is from Mexico, so like I know all the Hispanic cultures, but I never knew others outside of that. Like, I knew some history because of school, but I didn't. Most of my friend group was very small.
Yeah.
It didn't expand till later on. So it bursted my bubble. I was like, oh wow, all of this happens. You get me?
Did you try new foods?
Yeah, I tried. Like, I never had ramen before. That was the first time. I've had sushi, but it wasn't to that experience. I was like, okay, there's stuff that I completely ignored. I don't eat California rolls anymore. That's like a disgrace in my mind. But yeah, no, it was completely different. But anyways, we're getting off topic. Let's continue on with the questions. Do you have high expectations, and does it affect your relationships or former relationships?
Yeah.
I feel like you're afraid to touch this topic.
I'm exposing myself a lot.
Do you want me
No,
to...
No, it's fine, because I think people should learn about this. So some of my expectations are, I mean expectations, it can be unrealistic, right? So I think for me, one of my expectations, and I know this about myself, my friends know this about me, I can be kind of needy. I can be a needy person. I'm independent in a weird way. Like, I'm pretty independent, but in another weird way, I'm very needy. I'm emotionally needy. So I need just a little more love, a little more care, a little more attention. And because of that, it sometimes causes pressure on my significant others, where they're just like, okay, well, I can't always do this, or I need my time. And I've dated people that are more like, they're more independent. So like I said earlier, like, I can be the social butterfly and the person doesn't have to be, because I'll do it for the both of us. Because of that, they need more time to restore. They need more time to, like, more alone time. And I've had issues with that, or I've had issues with because I translate it to lack of communication. It's not that, that's just how they communicate. So that's been a thing. And another thing for me has also been like I mentioned earlier, I'm really close to my family, and if I've had issues where my family even puts these expectations on us, where, like, and I mean us, like my sister and I, for example, and probably my nieces and nephews as they're getting older, my family is needy. They require your time, and when you have a significant other coming into your life, they require their time, and they want to make sure that you're a part of everything that we do. And it's like, if you're not there as my significant other, it's like, well, why aren't they there? Well, what else are they doing that's more important than us? It's a lot.
Yeah,
and,
it is a lot.
You know, I've created, luckily recently, like, I've been able, as I've gotten older, I've been able to create that boundary where it's like, this is my relationship, not yours. If they need to go do something, I understand, because we have communicated, like, he and I have communicated on it. But you can't put that pressure on them. So those are some of the expectations. But before I had learned that, I would bring it into my relationship, because then I'd feel guilted by my family, and then I'd go take it out on my significant other. So it's been a journey, but I think the thing I need to work on now is just my neediness.
Okay. No, I kind of, High expectations for me, I've learned from a very young age, and I thank my dad for that. And some people have stared at me very weirdly, like in middle school or high school, because I mean, my grandmother's 101, and my grandfather is no longer here, but I looked at their relationship, and he was the biggest sweetheart in the world, and she was just a roaring bitch. And forgive me, I understand a lot of people do not comprehend how I could call my grandmother that, but she just absolutely hates. I don't think she was always this way, but she doesn't like almost anyone. Like, it's all about her. It was very materialistic. It was her way or the highway. If he didn't do what she wanted, she'd pretty much throw a fit and would yell at him, call him an idiot, and other names. And I just couldn't comprehend how he loved her.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was toxic. It was so toxic. And at a very young age, I asked my dad, like, why is it like that? And what I've learned is that people, especially, yes, society takes a big role in it, actually, a really big role, is that people have this expectation in their mind and say, okay, my Prince Charming, or my princess, or my queen or king, whatever you want to call it, I want them to have these qualities, to look like this, to think like this, to be like this, to meet these expectations that I have that might be completely unrealistic.
Mm-hmm.
And then you've created that image, and once you've had that image, you don't realize that you put that image to whoever you're dating. And once you do that, if there's qualities that don't add up to what you want, then you start to put them at fault. Because they're like, well, you don't do this. Well, you don't do that. Well, you don't act like this. Well, you're not. But then do you realize yourself that you are putting it to your fantasy in your head?
Mm-hmm.
And that sometimes can be the downfall in someone's relationship, both ways. Not just one, but both ways. And it might be more than one sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Or it might be equally, and it's just clashing. So, I mean, I'm not going to lie, I've had expectations, but I do catch myself where I try to, and we all do it. We're human. We all do it.
Mm-hmm.
So, I really believe that we all do it to a degree. So I can't think of exactly what my expectations are. I am clingy. I will have to say that. I guess, or pretty much what you said. I do require more. What did you say?
Emotional attention rather than like physical. Yeah.
I do require a lot of emotional attention because I am an emotional person.
Mm-hmm.
Especially since in my family we do have a bit. Like, I notice mainly in the female, not male, but that there's a lot of like, oh, I'm mad. Oh, now I'm happy. Oh, now I'm crying. I don't know what to do with myself. There's no middle ground.
It's just like a roller coaster.
Yeah, it's like a roller coaster, especially on my mom's side.
Mm-hmm.
It's a huge roller coaster of emotion, and it's like you don't get a moment to say, okay, yes, I'm mad, but I feel like sorry for the person, or like I need to control myself. And I tend to be that roller coaster, but I feel like because of my dad's side, because he's so calm and my grandfather was so calm, that I'm able to control that. And relate to what is it that I'm actually doing wrong, or they are, or both of us are, and try and find a middle ground. And sometimes my emotions completely take over, and I try and compare, and comparing is such a bad thing. And I'm still working on that because I do it. And I'm not the only one that does it, but I do it. So I try not to do it. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I feel like it has affected some relationships, but I've had other people attack me for their expectations as well on how I was supposed to be. And being a woman that likes to state her feelings and is okay with being honest bothers some people. I've had a lot of guys who are like, why do you always have to tell me how you feel in that way? Like, why can't you just keep it to yourself?
Guys don't like getting checked.
No, they don't. And I've had a lot of conflict in that, and then I've had other things pop up which are more serious topics that I shouldn't bring up here. But it's just like it doesn't like it clashes. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that would be for me. So yeah.
So just high expectations in general, but having to check yourself.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people where they have so high expectations that they don't realize they're destroying their relationship. Or that they wonder why they can't get that person, or why won't a person just be with them, but it's just like you're expecting that figure. I feel like you're like, oh, let me pay. It's like, oh, I'm going to pay because I want that figurine because it's pristine and it looks like that.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's like you're so caught up in the dream person that you've built in your mind, like you don't even realize what the good thing that you have in front of you, and you're probably even missing out on some of the things that your dream person doesn't even have, but this person can offer you. That's actually really beneficial to you.
Yeah. Let's see. So, how do you define love?
Love is that mushy gushy ooey feeling. Okay. Love for me is time. Time. Like, just time. I guess that goes back to my clinginess, though. No, but for me, love is time and communication and patience, you know. I think time to get to know each other, time to spend, you know, doing things together, time when things get busy, and being patient in that time. Patience as in patience for when things get busy, patience when the person is being grumpy and maybe they may not mean it, but they still love you and you know that they still love you, but you just gotta be patient with them. Patience for just whatever life may throw at you, whatever your relationship might throw at you. And what did I say?
It's used to time
and patience, right? Yeah, that's love. So.
I think in a way mine links all back to the theory that I had to the prior question, but it also for me it's, if I have to say, and I guess in a sense it is an expectation, but it is honesty. Honesty, communication, and I guess patience, which would be in her sense time, because you could be in a relationship, but it doesn't mean that it's not going to be hard. It will be hard, and I feel like there's a lot of people that will throw someone away because they're not in the standard that they're in right now, or they're struggling to get in the current state you are in your life. For example, so let's say I am in my career choice and the other person isn't yet, but they're not there yet. They're struggling to get there, but they're not there yet. But the other person's tired of waiting, so they just leave.
I've seen that happen.
I've seen that happen a lot, and they're like, well, they're not making enough money, so I'm going to leave them. So that's what I'm trying to say. Like, I think patience takes a big part because you want to grow together. I mean, I understand if it's a toxic relationship or anything like, by all means, don't stay in it. But if they're just struggling to get where they need to be, all the support is possible. And yeah, it can be frustrating sometimes because it does take a toll on the relationship. And sadly, money takes a part of it. Yeah. It does. I don't like to admit that, but it does. Sometimes it does take a toll on both people. It's not even just one, because the other one's like, well, what if this person's going to leave me because I'm not making enough, or I'm struggling to make anything? Yeah. And then the other one's bringing the bread home, and, so that can take an effect. So I think patience is a really big thing. Support, major support, whether it's easy or hard, and, like, helping each other out, like, it doesn't matter. And for me, happiness, like, in the sense of happiness is not looking for happiness. You don't look for happiness. You have to be happy with yourself. Yeah. You have to be content with who you are, and they have to do the same thing for themselves to love another. And happiness isn't given to you. You have to learn and understand that the sun will rise the next day, and show that all that care and love is there on both ends.
That's beautiful.
Sorry.
No, it's really beautiful. I really like. I don't know. I sound like a smartass, but that was actually really beautiful. Sorry.
You didn't sound like a smartass. I there's a lot of things on this topic that I've said to people, and they're like, "Huh?"
No, it makes
and
sense.
I've always thought this as a kid. So, like I said, I think patience, support, and understanding each other. You don't have to know each other like all at once. You have forever.
Continue learning.
You continue learning.
Yeah, I don't never stop learning.
Yeah, I don't like when people get mad at their partner, like, "Oh, you didn't tell me that."
No.
Well, who cares? I mean, I understand it, like, "Oh, they cheated on you, right? Yeah, you should have told them that." but I mean, in the sense of like, "Oh, well, I like Disney. Well, you like basketball, cool." And then all of a sudden, it's like, "I like blue, you like pink." What? Like, okay. So it's things like that, like, oh, you're learning about them every day. Like, oh, you like this food? I didn't know that. And it's okay not to know, because it just makes it more interesting. But that's what I think. I felt like I just got very philosophical on y'all. When you have a significant other, do you want them to be just a romantic partner, or do you also seek friendship?
I think it's good to have both. I think it's good to have a balance, because there's this thing I do when I date people. I'm like, can you just be my friend for like a second? And then I'll just say whatever I need to say. And then it's like, I just want, in that moment, it just means that I want friendly advice. Like, I don't want this bias, like, oh, you're my, like, boyfriend, and, like, you love me so much, and you're gonna give me, like, the, like, sappiest answer ever. I don't want that. Like, I want to be real. I want you to be real with me, and I need a friend right now. It's like, can you just be my friend for a second? So that's my thing.
For me, it's all my past relationships were all romantic. All of them. Except for now. All of my past relationships were romantic. And it was really hard for me to comprehend having a romantic relationship but also being their best friend. Because all of my romantic relationships were very lovey-dovey. They were like, oh, I bought you this, or we're going on a date. Like, it was a constant affection. And especially in the Hispanic culture, we're very touchy. We're very like, I love you, give you a kiss on the cheek, let's go here, let's go there. Oh, even if you're mad, like, there's passion there.
There really is.
There's a lot of passion. And it's like a telenovela. It's so dramatic.
Loves in Spanish.
Yeah, it's
gets angry in Spanish.
Like, it's so much. But I was so used to that. Like, but the issue is I realized, yes, it was so romantic. Oh, I went on all these dates. Oh, I got stuff. Oh, like, they were constantly, like, giving me gifts or picking me up randomly. Like, but when it came down to the present relationship that I have, and that's been going on for 6 years, going on 7, it was a whole turnaround, because I was like, wow, I can actually talk to this person. Like, I can actually talk about my emotions and just be friends. Like, it didn't mean, like, every second, even with other friends around, every second of the day, I had to be lovey-dovey. No. Like, we could chill and not be in the vicinity of each other and still be okay. Like, all my other relationships, like, give me your hand. Okay, and we're holding hands the whole time, or we're cuddling the whole time, or I get a kiss. The only thing I didn't do was the make out. I got really irritated by people that would just make out in front of their friends, like practically having sex in front of you. That I couldn't do.
I'm not a PDA person. Well, I'm a PDA, but, like, very, like, minimal PDA.
But you get what I'm saying. Like,
yeah. That's, like, obnoxious.
That was just too much. I thought that was rude. But everyone goes... I feel like some people just go through it. Like, it's just a phase. Or, But it was a whole turnaround for me. It was really different, because I was like, wow. Like, I mean, there was moments where I'm like, let me hold your hand, or like, let me hold your arm, or like, let me cuddle with you, because I was so used to it. So it took me a while to be like, this is okay. Like, I don't have to hold your hand 24/7. I don't have to be holding you. I don't have to be kissing you. I don't have to be telling you I love you every 5 seconds of the day. Like, and a lot of my past relationships, which this is toxic, and it took me a long time to stop it, really, was constantly texting. I don't know how you feel about that. Or, like, if you've done that. Like, you know when you, like, constantly talking to the person?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've always been in that. And I was just, like, when I got out of it, I was like, wow, this is different.
You can breathe.
Yeah, like, you can breathe. But I was like, I don't know. There was, like, I don't know what to do. What do I say? What do I do? Do I text him? Do I not text him? Like, so that was the shit I went through. But maybe you guys are completely different. Maybe it's just me. I don't know.
I don't know, but, like, I talk a lot, like I said, so, I mean, but, like, in terms of, like, having relationships where it's overwhelming and you just feel like all you can do is be a romantic partner, and you feel forced to go talk to your friends because you can't talk to this one person, it's frustrating.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Because you want to be able to talk to your significant other and be like, hey, like, I just need a friend right now, like, you know, so, yeah, that's
like, give me my personal space.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Let's see, what do we have? How real do you want them to be? I think I already kind of stated it with most of mine, so let's hear from Leslie.
I'm a sensitive soul.
A sensitive soul?
I think of Pumbaa.
I know.
But I really am. Actually, not that I need it sugar-coated. But I need, there's just communicate to me, slowly. Let me understand. Let me ask questions. I think that's the thing. Like, let me ask questions so that I understand where you're coming from. But I appreciate honesty. Like, like I said, I don't want it to be sugar-coated. Tell me, like, what you're feeling. Tell me whatever it is that you want to feel. I want my person to feel like they can communicate with me. Like, they can, tell me anything that's on their mind. Because, you know, if I need to be checked at a moment, like, check me on my shit. Like, don't let me step all over you. Don't let me get away with something, you know. So I need communication. That comes in with communication, I guess. Like, it ties in with communication. Just don't be rude. I think that's about it. Don't be rude and disrespectful, but be honest. Let's talk about it. That's kind of
I think for me it's kind of the same thing. Like, real in the sense of, like, just be you. Tell me what you're feeling. And I know it's not. I feel like for guys, they're taught to. I mean, I think it's changing now, but a lot of guys are taught to keep their emotions to themselves.
It's Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, FYI.
Yeah, it is.
So, I didn't know that was a thing. I'm actually really happy that that's a thing, but that should be addressed. But anyways, sorry.
No, you're fine. I agree with it, but I really do. I noticed that a lot of guys keep their emotions and, like, they'll show them away from everyone.
Mm-hmm.
As in, like, no one's around and they're like, all right, I'm going to cry now.
Mm-hmm.
Or, like, I'm going to take my frustration out now.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like it's a good thing that, you know, there's communication and they're allowing it. I want them to be as real possible. And I don't think that if a guy cries, I don't think anything less of you. You're human.
Mm-hmm.
You have emotions. You're allowed to feel. So I think it's okay. That's how real I want them to be. I want them to be okay with that. I want them to be okay with showing me that they can cry or that they're having a tantrum. You know what? You're having your tantrum. Like, I mean, granted, tantrums aren't really that great, but, you know, it's something. It's something. You're showing some. Yeah, it's a breakdown. If you're breaking down, that's fine with me. Like, I have mental breakdowns all the time. I have anxiety, so it happens. Like, we all have our shit. We're not perfect. But yeah,
I think our generation's getting better. It's, like, moving towards better, like, mental health stuff. But that's another topic.
That's definitely another topic.
We should talk about that later.
So you want to read the next one?
Sure. Break advice. Okay.
Breakup advice. Sorry.
Breakup advice. Sorry.
Slash moving on.
Slash moving on. So this is hard. You want to go ahead and start it?
Hard?
Because breaking up is hard to do.
I mean, breakup advice, you know, mourn. Allow yourself to mourn. Allow yourself to be like, oh, I miss them. Oh, you know, like, it's okay. It's a natural reaction, especially if you really cared for them. Like, I know some people are like, oh, I broke up with them, but I didn't really feel anything. Oh, okay, then that's fine. That's your But if you're really, like, it's hard and stuff, and, you know, you're like, oh, I need to run back to them. Like, ask yourself this question: were you happy to begin with?
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, do you want to go back to that? And if you do, why? And, you know, put all the pros and cons out there for yourself. That's how I see it. So, truly, like, give yourself a couple days and think about that. And if you want to talk to some people for advice, go for it.
Yeah.
And it's okay to talk to people about it. It's not a bad thing. And you can talk to several people. You don't have to just talk to one person. So, I mean, that's how I see it. Like, just ask yourself, truly, is this who I want to be with? Is this what I want to do? Do I want to deal with this? Is it worth it in your mind? And is it a healthy relationship in the first place? And are you in the right state of mind yourself?
Yeah, because you got emotions are irrational. One of my not favorite teachers said that one time, but it's true. It's emotions are irrational, and there's no, you can't think of things, you can't process things correctly because you're all emotional. There's just, it's all heart, no brain, you know, no mind to it, no thoughts actually put into it, and you're very impulsive. So I think for me, like, during breakups, I would run to my friends a lot. One thing that one of my, like, best friends did, and at the time I hated him for it, but I'm really thankful for it. When I broke up with somebody, I was constantly checking social media. And, like, always checking, and, like, what were they up to, and looking at their stories, and looking at their Snapchat. And then I left my phone. We went out to eat. I left my phone on the table, and he knew my password, and it goes into my freaking accounts, and blocked him, and deleted him, and unfriended him. And I was like, no, I can't go back. Especially because the person's page is private, so, like, you have to post again. I was so mad at the time, but no, it really helped because that kept me clinging to the past, and it was a couple months by then. And so I was just like,
I'm not gonna lie, I think a lot of people do that though.
It's part of the grieving process.
Yeah, it's a part of the grieving process. You're like, what are they doing in their life? Like, what's going on?
Because you're so used to having them all the time, and then it's poof.
And then they're gone. So, I mean, I get it. Like, I mean, I've had moments where I'm like, what is this person up to in their life? And you kind of, like, look and you're like, oh, okay. But especially if it's an ex, you're like, oh. Like, you're wondering, like, did you get better? Did you not? And there's some people who are like, ha, you didn't get better. And there's some people who are like, oh, they made such a great life from that, or they improved. Like, good for you. You get me?
Yeah, I think with that relationship, it was my first time ever getting dumped. So I was, like, really taking it hard. Because it was kind of, like, unexpected for me. I was just like, oh, I thought we were good, kind of thing. And so I wanted to figure, because I never got closure, I wanted to figure out what was going on.
Well, I feel like a lot of people don't get closure
through breakups. I didn't know that, though. So I was learning that, and that was probably the only time I've learned that. In other breakups, you know, I've been able to... This is going to sound terrible. I've been able to maintain, like, friendships, but, like, not like, oh, we're talking every day. It's, like, it's casual enough where it's just like, hey, dude, how are you? Okay, cool. Nice to see you. Nice to talk to you.
And then bye.
Yeah, kind of thing. But I think that was different compared to the version where I could not be friends with this person. I could not get in contact with them. I cannot catch them up. And the thing is, when I date people, they tend to start off as my friends first, like really close friends. We get close, and then eventually we end up liking each other. So I think at that point, I had lost my best friend, and I had to figure out what life looked like at the time, because they closed off any kind of relationship. So I was obsessed with trying to get with whatever I could.
So for me, like I said, my past relationships were very romantic. They weren't like, oh, you're my best friend too. No, they were just romantic, fantasy type of relationships, and some of them turned into really toxic. But I don't know, like, how do I explain it? I just went blank.
We're talking about...
going into their accounts and stuff. Okay. So pretty much, I was so used to being really romantic with them and constantly being attached to them that it was hard for me to be alone, just in general.
Yeah.
It was really hard for me to be like, I can do this. It took me a while, like, I was wondering what was going on, and I think that was the clinginess of me.
I think in those moments, though, it's like, date yourself.
Yeah.
Date yourself. Learn who you are now as a person.
But you know how you said, like, all of them were your friends prior?
Oh, yeah.
None of them, except for my current one, were actual friends.
Uh-huh.
It was like we were attracted to each other and we maybe had a class together or we knew someone in common, but we didn't actually hang out. And then it was like, okay, well, I'm attracted to you. Well, okay, we maybe talk like once or twice. Or we see each other a lot in passing and we just really think we're attracted to each other, and then it went from there.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I didn't really have anyone that was like, oh, you're my friend for such a long time and now we're dating. No, it was like, I'm attracted to you, you're cute, I'm cute, let's go. Like that's kind of like how it was, and then I got to know their personality from there.
Yeah, that's why. Like, I think in those moments, though, I think what helped me move on, I mean, was, again, getting to know me, getting to, because, again, I have trouble with being alone. I also have trouble with being alone. I'm used to having people around me all the time, especially when it's that significant other. But, I think when you find yourself really grieving this person and you're ready to move on, like, because there comes a point where you're grieving and then you're just like, okay, I'm ready to move on.
Mm-hmm.
When you find that moment, because I want you to grieve it all, just take it all out, let it all out. When you find that moment, I think it's time to reconnect with friends, go out on solo dates and take yourself out for coffee, go watch a movie on your own, go do things that you like to do. What does this new person without so-and-so look like? Who am I? Reestablish yourself as that person without that one person.
Yeah. Agreed.
And heal, and enjoy the little things in life again.
That's very true, because I remember, like, there's times like, oh, like, I'm not gonna lie, throughout my whole life, there's only been, like, maybe the longest I've been single was, I can't even count.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I can't even count. I'm not shitting you. The first boyfriend I had, and my parents don't count it, and I get it. I was in middle school, but I counted it. The first boyfriend I had was in middle school. I was a 7th grader. Mm-hmm. And we dated from 7th grade to 8th grade. And he was he's a better person now, because we were kids. Mm-hmm. But the way it ended was I got slapped across the face for saying something.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I'm okay with saying it. I was in middle school, okay? It happened in the middle of the classroom. He got in trouble by the teacher. And I bitch slapped him back because I got mad.
Yeah.
And the teacher did not get mad at me at all, which I was surprised. I was expecting to get in trouble. But that was my first ever form of relationship ever. And we went to high school together, and I got an apology later on, which was great. And, I think we realized we were middle school, we weren't the smartest. And I was single for the summer.
Like 8th to 9th?
Yeah, yeah, 8th, so ending 8th grade, we broke up, and then, like, all of summer, I was fine, and then I entered high school, and then, I dated one guy for, like, 2 months, and I realized he was really, really, like, this is not good, like, was controlling, very controlling, so I left, and I was stalked for, like, 3 months. Yeah. And,
how did you find yourself to be able to move on, though? Like,
oh no, with him I moved on immediately.
Well, yeah, but like okay, so like the first two, I guess what was the hardest, not to get into detail of the breakup, but what was the hardest breakup in terms of, like, you couldn't get over this person, and how were you able to move on?
So there was 2 hard relationships. One was, I won't even get into that one. The other one after that, I was coming out of the really bad relationship, and that bad relationship was for 3 years, and it really scarred me. And my idiot self at the time decided to get into another relationship because the person that was treating me well at the time made me realize I needed to get out of that relationship. So I thank that person for that, because it made me realize, like, I always knew it was there, but I was afraid to leave. Mm-hmm. Now, that other person, I still thank them, even though they've done a lot of shit themselves. I thank them in the sense of making me realize this is not a good relationship. So I pretty much got out of that toxic relationship and went into another without realizing it. The only difference was it wasn't as horrifying as the previous one.
So,
And that
question. So was moving on just going on to another relationship for you though?
I lost for the prior one a long time ago.
Okay.
It was a 3-year relationship. By probably a year and a half, I already lost the feelings. But I stayed because I was scared.
Yeah.
Which you already know.
Yeah, we don't.
But we don't talk about that. But I pretty much a year and a half. After a year and a half, I lost the emotions. I gained emotions for this person, and they helped me realize I need to get out of this. But the issue was they took advantage of my vulnerability, and I didn't think about it at the time, and I went into that relationship. And granted, they treated me like a queen. Honestly, they treated me like a queen, like absolute queen. But the downfall was I got cheated on at the end and was being manipulated in a romantic way.
I've had a relationship like that though.
But it felt like there were no flaws. Like it felt like everything was fine. It was a
They
little
were
bit
blinding
too,
you.
Yeah, it was too perfect.
Yeah.
There was moments where I was like, this is too perfect. But I was so happy because I was out of the other one and it wasn't so like it was like
I was like, this is good.
No, not even good. It felt like I was in a fantasy. Like, oh my god, this is wonderful.
But you were being blinded.
But I was being blinded the whole time, and then at the end of it, I got cheated on and lied to and manipulated.
Yeah.
So it was like I went from this terrifying, excruciating relationship for 3 years, and then I automatically went into a new one, and it was wonderful, and it felt great, and I was being taken out, and like they got along with my family, and I was like, oh wow. And I didn't read the red flags like at all.
I guess that kind of goes into our next question of like, how do you know you're ready to date again?
Yeah,
kind of. Yeah.
So wait, I just lost my place. Where are you? Okay. Meeting the family. When do you meet the family?
No, how do you...
Oh, sorry. My bad. You already know the next question, though. How do you know you're ready to date again?
So you've moved on. Let's say, like, this is over. Like, you're finally ready to... You've grieved enough. I think it's when you've learned to love yourself again. I think it's when you're happy and content with yourself. You know how to be alone with yourself. I feel like your body just tells you to. I think I
think it takes time.
Your heart tells you.
Yeah.
Your heart tells you. I mean, I'm very, like, in tune with my emotions in the sense of, well, a good chunk of my emotions there's some emotions I'm still figuring out. But, like, most of my emotions are pretty, especially when it comes to my love life, I find myself just being ready. Like, I'm like I naturally start saying, oh, I want a boyfriend. I want to start dating. Yeah, I want to start dating again. But then, okay, so actually, no, I should backtrack. So first, it's, I want to start dating again. Then it's like, I think I'm ready for a relationship. And my body just tells me, I think it's just being honest with yourself, though. You have to be honest. Don't force anything, like, because you're trying to move on trying to move on from someone. Don't force it. Don't, like, you just need, you need to allow yourself the time to heal, to grieve, and be alone again, and spend time with friends, get to catch up with friends that maybe you weren't talking to because you were in a relationship that maybe didn't even allow you to talk to other people, or you didn't have the time to talk to other people. You know, so I think you'll know. Like, there's a pit in your stomach where you're just like, I'm ready to do this again. Yeah.
I agree with you, because like after that one, it took me about 4 months to do anything, because I felt very betrayed at the time.
Yeah.
And I was in such a dark place. I was like, I don't know. Like, I was just focused on myself. I was like, how do I get out of this place? Like, I felt like I couldn't trust anyone. So I think with other people, it's just like, how are you feeling at the moment? Are you ready yourself? Have you healed yourself enough to say, I'm ready to, work with someone? And you could take a year, it could take 2 years, 10 years, 5 years, like 1 day, I don't know. Like, there's no timeline. There's no timeline.
Yeah.
For me, I think it was like an estimate of 4 months, around maybe even 5. That was the longest I've ever been single. That is the longest I've ever been single. That answers the question. Around 4 to 5 months. But it's you yourself, like, hey, am I ready for this? Am I not? I don't know.
Yeah.
And, you know, sometimes you're not sure. Sometimes you test the water, and that's fine. You're like, oh, hell no, I ain't ready for this.
That's
I'm going
true.
back. So that's okay. I don't know about you.
No, that's why I mentioned, like, date again, but don't jump into a relationship, I think. Because once you start dating, you're just like, oh, maybe I'm not ready for this.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. No, so right before, like, so after that breakup, the really bad breakup I had, I was aiming for a year of being single. That did not work out. It was like 2 months. But before that, I tried dating, like, within a couple months of being single. I still was not over the person, though. That's the thing, is that I still wasn't over the person. And tried it. I was not a fan. Like, I knew I wasn't ready. I was like, okay, I'm not ready for this. Like, I thought I could be. I thought I could go out. At least go out, because I wasn't looking for a relationship at the time. I was like, at least go out with people. No. I couldn't. I was like, I'm going back into my hole. Back into my cave. No. No, I just wanted to go back to my
She
friends.
was packed with star, guys. Just went back under the rock.
No, yeah, I just definitely, I realized I was still grieving. I realized that I still needed some healing, and I needed to just get back to being on my own. So it took another few months. But yeah, I think you just know. There's no definitive timeline. Like you said, if your body will tell you you're not ready. Like, bro, get back inside.
Yeah. Get back under your blanket. Stay under there for a couple months. All right, watch some TV.
Go hang out with friends.
Yeah, that too. You know, everyone's different. Like, so, like, either you go out with your friends a lot, or you just kind of like you're a little hermit. You're like, I'm here. You know, I'm a bit of both. I think I'm more the social one out of that state, because I'm like, I have to distract myself.
I'm a workaholic. I invest myself in work. I do a lot of other projects and...
No, I'm the one that's like, let's go to the museum. Let's go to Disneyland. Let's go. Let's have fun. Let's watch this movie.
That's
like,
good.
So that's how I was doing things that I liked doing.
That's good, because kind of like self-care, self-healing.
I mean, yeah, I did it with friends, because I don't like going by myself.
Me neither.
So I think we can tell we cannot be alone, obviously. I used to live in Anaheim, and I was so depressed because my roommate, and I didn't really know her at the time either, she worked the night shift, and I worked the day shift.
Oh, you were alone.
So I was alone, and I didn't have a car at the time.
Aww.
So it's not like I could drive home. I mean, I was an hour away from home, so it's not really a big, like, it's not that far, but I wasn't going to...
It's still a drive, though.
It's still a drive if you don't have a car, it's a drive.
Yeah.
The bus drive is a lot longer. But I was just kind of like... I felt so, like, I was, like, in the little corner. Like, I literally cried the first day I was there. I was like, I'm all alone. And all my family and friends are back here. Like, yeah, I realized after that, I made friends. And I was like, okay, I don't feel so alone anymore. But I realized after moving to Anaheim and doing that, I'm not a person that can be alone. I'm really not.
I know.
But anyways, let's go to the next question. Some of you heard it by accident because I read it on accident, but it's okay. Meeting the family.
Advice for meeting the family.
Yeah, well, not even just advice for meeting the family. Like, I don't know. How do you feel about meeting the family? When do you think it's okay?
Like, when do you think it's okay?
Mm-hmm.
I will say my personal rule for people meeting my family: show me you're invested at least for a month, because I'm not going to introduce you to my family if you're going to waste my time. At least a month.
Okay.
At least a month. And that derived from, like, when I first started dating, I was in high school, and my very first boyfriend was not allowed inside the house. He was not allowed inside the house, so we would have porch visits. Very old school, very old fashioned. I have a Central American grandmother. So she was like, he can't come inside. I'm like, but he's my boyfriend. She was still, like, weirded out the fact that I even had a boyfriend, because the rule was I was going to be 18 till I dated. That didn't happen.
I think a lot of families do that. You can't date till you're married. How does that work?
So, he was sweet. He did not live, obviously, we were in high school, so he didn't have a car. And he lived in, like South Central LA. Had to come all the way up to where I was. And, boy took the bus. The train and then the bus. All, like,
yeah, that
really
was
early. Commitment.
I was
and
committed.
He proved himself to my family. And so, within the month, he was allowed in. But, like, living room. Like, back living room in the backyard. Those were, like, the 3 places he was allowed in the house. But that being said, it was the month. So I kind of kept that. So whoever after that came into my life, it was just like, you can't meet my family for a month. And if you want to come visit, you can come to my door. You can give me whatever you want to give me, and then you go. You know.
Right.
So a month, but that was just my rule for meeting my family.
So mine is very different, way different. So like I said, I'm mixed. My dad was born here, but his family's from Holland. And my mom is from Cuba, Havana, and they're two different cultures.
Yeah.
Two very different cultures. So in my abuelo's eyes, I'm not allowed to date until I'm married.
Oh no.
Yeah. And I'm not allowed to have boyfriends, like, yeah, all that stuff. They're very, very, very strict. But the thing is, my parents are the complete opposite. I never had the dating talk. I've never had the sex talk. Like, I never got any of those talks. So I was the one, what's this? And they're like, why are you asking me this? I'm like, because everyone else talks about this and I don't.
Yeah.
Like, what the heck? Like, I never got, like, you can't date. Besides my abuelo, they never said, oh, you can't date. They never told me any of that. They never said that to me. So it didn't dawn on me. Like, I didn't care or realize, or it never...
Dating just was like, whatever.
Yeah, it was whatever. It didn't register in my mind. So I was like, oh, it's not bad to have a boyfriend, or it's not bad to not have one. Like, it didn't... I think because they didn't ingrain it in my mind. You know when you say you can't have it, but then you want it? I think that was...
forbidden fruit.
Yeah, it wasn't a forbidden fruit.
Yeah.
That's why. So in my mind, I'm like, I have a boyfriend. And my dad's like, yeah, sure. Like, that's what he's like, yeah, sure you do. That was about it. But even if I did have a boyfriend or a person I was interested in, the only rule in the house was no doors can be closed.
Yeah.
So, like, if we were in my room, the doors have to be open.
Right.
No matter what. If we're in the living room, doors have to be open. I mean, there's no doors there. But anyways, like, it was just anywhere part of the house. Inside of the house.
Yeah.
Doors have to be open. I'm not allowed to close the door. Especially if it was a male. Because at that time, I mean, things are different now. But at that time, it was like, oh, girl and boy, oh my god, you can't be alone in a room.
Yeah, the whole taboo.
Yeah, the whole taboo stuff. But that's pretty much it. So it never really dawned over me. Like, if I had a boy, I was like, oh, I like him. But I never was like, oh, I can't have you come over. Oh, you can't meet my family. I'm not kidding you. And one of my friends said that I do this because of my mom's culture. But I don't remember who it was. It was one of my friends. It was a while ago. I'm like, usually when I date a person, it would be like, oh, we've been dating for 3 days. And I don't even realize I do it. But I do it. I'll bring the person home without even thinking about it. And I'm like, this is my mom, this is my sister, this is my dad, like, these are my dogs.
Yeah.
So, like, it never dawned on me, and, apparently, that's a Cuban thing, I don't know how, but apparently we just bring them, like, if we like them, we just bring them.
Oh.
Yeah. So, maybe it's just my family, or maybe, that person maybe they do it and they don't realize it, I don't know.
I see what they're saying. I think what they probably mean is, like, that's a huge thing. In my family, the only reason why we wait the month I wait the month is because my family gives their heart and soul to my SO. Like, they love them. They treat them like part of the family.
The thing is, they treat you a part of the family on the spot.
Yeah, that's why.
Boyfriend or not.
Exactly. That's another thing I was going to say. It's like in the Latin culture. But I think maybe for this other person, it's probably like, that's a huge thing to bring someone home. Because it's intimate, I guess. I don't know. That's a good point. I never realized until you said that.
Yeah, like, apparently I do that. Like, I'm just like, oh, I like this person. And then, like, I'll get to know them. But once we're dating for, like, 3, maybe even a week, I'm like, all right, come on over. And then they'll come on over. I'm like, this is my dad. Like, I don't think about it. I just do it. Like, it's nonchalant. I don't care. I'm like, all right, let's have fun. Like, let's do it.
Yeah,
let's
you
go.
love your family and you want to share your family in a sense.
I don't think of it as like, oh my god, I have to wait a month or 2 months. Oh my god, I brought them into their lives. Like, they're adults. I don't think they care.
You know what?
I mean, maybe if it was kids, it'd be different.
Yeah, but that is so... You know what? I'm thinking back to all the Hollywood movies. They're like, oh, I'm bringing my girlfriend home for the holidays. This is like, oh, that's so big. Like, what's going to happen? I never realized it's such an American thing.
Yeah.
In, like, Latin culture, it's like, yeah, come on over. We have food.
Yeah. That's why.
Oh, my God.
I don't do that. I don't think about, oh my God, if I bring them home,
No,
oh my God.
yeah.
I've never thought of that. I really haven't. So like
blew
when
my mind right now.
I current boyfriend, when I went to his house, which was 5 years ago. I don't think I met them the first year. Babe, did I meet them the first year? I just need a double reassurance. No, you're not gonna respond to me? Okay. The point is, I think I was 5 years. I think it was 5 years. Because we've been dating for 6. So I think, I met them a year after. Mm-hmm. It didn't faze me at all. I was like, alright, let's go. I'll meet him. Are you sure? Yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
It didn't bother me. Like, I mean, I've seen the cultural aspects in the sense of, like, oh, you're Hispanic. Oh, you're Caucasian. Like, I've dealt with those, but it still doesn't dawn on me, like, until it gets hit in the face. Like, it actually happens to me.
Yeah.
But other than that, I'm like, alright, let's go meet your family. Let's go. I'm down. All guys I've dated, I've met all their families, and I'm like, what's up? How you doing?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't say what's up, how you doing. I'm more the, hello, my name is Amanda. I'm more I start showing the professional side. Until I'm comfortable with them, then I'll start showing the more vibrant side of me, I guess.
Yeah, I think advice for, like, meeting family would be, like, you know, if you're nervous about it, just communicate with your significant other about it, and just have them prep you if you want. Like, obviously, they know their family best. It's like, oh, don't talk to this person.
But don't overdo it either, because sometimes you can scare them.
Yeah, and I think it's enough just, and as preparing that SO to come over, like, if I were preparing my significant other to come over, I'll give them a heads up. Hey, so I have this going on. So this is my so-and-so's this, and this is my so-and-so's that.
I always do that as well. Like,
but I usually don't make it a big deal. It's like, they'll be fine. You'll have fun. Just be nice and just be cordial and be respectful.
Be respectful, be be yourself.
Have some manners.
Yes, have some manners.
Be a human being.
I mean, but I also realize, because, like, sometimes you might have those certain people in the family that you're scared of. Yeah. But, like, that takes a play into it sometimes, but you're just kind of, like, just respect them, understand this. Or, like, like, example, my abuelo. Like, it's different generations. Like, you just have to understand, like, they don't think the way we think.
Yeah, it's like, don't take it to heart.
Yeah, don't take some things to heart. But other than that, I'm just like, let's go. Like, whatever. Let's do it.
Yeah.
But that's how I see it. And I think people have what you have, which is, oh, we have to wait a certain amount of time.
No, that's my personal rule. It's
not, but I've encountered that more than, like, oh, let's just go meet my family. Like, let's go hang out. I've encountered more people with, like, oh, well, my dad doesn't let me date, or my mom doesn't want me to date these, like certain... they want these certain ideals or whatever it is. Or so they're like, oh, so we have to wait it out. Or, do you get me?
Have you ever had situations where the family doesn't like you?
Yes.
What have you done in those situations?
Well...
And not getting into specifics, but, like, what have you done to, like, not let it get to you?
Like, not let it get to me at all?
Yeah, like, what did you do? Because obviously, I'm sure, like, you...
So... I hate to sound like this, but most of the relationships I've been in, all the family members have liked me. I've never really had an issue, and especially within my own family, I've had specific people in my family, in their relationships, they don't get along with the mother.
Yeah.
And it's actually very common. And I told myself I don't want to be like that, and if they choose not to like me, well, then that's fine. But I will always respect them and, understand that, there is a middle ground, whether they like me or they don't like me.
Yeah.
I don't want to be like, oh, we're going to clash all the time, because a lot of people clash with the parents, whether it's like the girl and the mother, or the father and the boyfriend, like, or vice versa, like, just one of the parents in general. Like, I never wanted that. Even if they don't like me, I'm going to understand that I need to respect their rules at their home.
Yeah, no, I think that, and that's wise, because it's not your home, it's their home, and you just gotta be respectful. I've been in situations where I've had, to the extreme, I'm absolutely loved, adored.
Yeah,
and then there's I've also had experiences where I'm not liked and not as welcomed and received, which has been hurtful. And I think in those situations, it's communicating a lot with your partner, and it's a lot of trying to see the other person's perspective. And if you don't get it, that's fine. Sometimes you're not gonna know, you're not gonna get it.
Yeah.
And sometimes you just have to accept what it is. And again, just be as cordial and respectful as you can. And also know that you don't have to be involved if you don't want to be. If you don't want to always be around, don't be around the toxic environment. It's not healthy. Just like you wouldn't let a friend step all over you, why are you going to let someone else step all over you?
Honestly, for me, the most, like, I've experienced is, like, even to this day, like, I've experienced it, which is, like, oh, and excuse me, but they're like, oh, you brought a Caucasian girl home. And it's like, I mean, but they wouldn't ask. They wouldn't know that I spoke Spanish. They would just assume it on the spot, like, oh, you brought, because I've never dated a Caucasian guy. I'll be honest. But, they're like, oh, you brought a Caucasian girl home. And I'm like, okay. And they're like, great, she must be rich. Like, I've gotten that a lot, and then that's the reason they accept me. But then when I start speaking Spanish, then they're even happier because I spoke Spanish. Because they're like, oh, so she's Spanish. And I'm like, well, yes, I am. So, I think I'm mainly accepted because I speak Spanish, or they just assume, like, oh, she's Caucasian, so it's great. Do you get me? Because
you know what, though? Like, in a lot of cultures,
it's a weird acceptance.
In a lot of cultures, being fair skin in general is more accepted.
Yes.
So, and then the fact that you're actually Latin and you're just light skin is just like, oh,
it's a double win.
It's exotic almost.
I don't think I hate that.
Not exotic, but I just had this conversation. It's you're
it's okay. Think it out. Think about it. Loading.
Yeah, loading. It's like, it's literally there. It's you're kind of elevating your status in a way, it's just,
which I think is sad.
It's sad, but that's what it is. It's immigrant culture. It's just what it is. A lot of, like, I've had many conversations about this, and that this can be another topic for another day. But
well, actually, our next topic, we have 2 more questions. Which is, have you ever been in an interracial relationship, and what was your experience? So, I mean, it kind of goes into what we're already talking about.
Yeah, I guess it does.
Yeah, it's already leading. That's why I was like, I led into it, because I read it ahead of time.
Yeah, I've been in an interracial relationship before. I'm trying to think of the people I dated. Yes, I've been in an interracial relationship before. I think what was interesting was learning different cultures, different languages. I think it was a lot of getting to learn how things are done. Things are just done differently. I actually really enjoyed it because I learned a lot about new foods, a new language. I learned about, I like learning about different cultures in general, and I'm, like I said, I'm a very adventurous person. So it was cool, it was nice, and then, yeah.
I think I'd have to say the same thing. I like I said, I've stayed within my culture for a very, very long time. And then, I think even within my culture itself and other variations, I guess. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, but, like, I've been with a Salvadorian guy, and I love the food, but there's different dialects that are different from what we have.
Yeah, Southern American and Central American cultures they're not different. Like, culturally it's similar, but also dialect is for sure different.
Yeah, like, there's a lot of dialects that are different in a lot of the Hispanic cultures that I've experienced, and it's unique. And there's some, because I know all the dialects that, and, like, slangs that, like, my mom has and that I've grown up with, and that's how I've learned Spanish. But then I would, like, my tia's from Mexico, and she has different dialects that
you guys have.
that have that it took me a while to like even register, and there's different parts.
Mm.
And they even have different,
Yeah.
like different slangs and stuff. So that was different for me. I think the biggest culture shock for me was with two people. Before my present one, which was Filipino, which was I love their food. God, their food is amazing.
Filipino food is amazing.
It's amazing.
So good, but so healthy.
But what?
It's so unhealthy. I love it though. All good food.
Learning the Filipino culture, and one of my close friends is from the Philippines. He's amazing, but like, it being immersed in it was so much fun.
Yeah.
And it was really, and then the one that really shocked me is the present one, which was Vietnamese, and that one was really interesting.
That's very different.
Very different compared to us, because we're like very touchy, touchy-feely, like huggy, kissy, like, hey, how are you? Like, I'm in your face. Like, I'm like we invade our space. So
there's no personal bubble.
Yeah, we don't have a personal bubble, and their culture does, and it took me a while, like, to get used to it.
Yeah.
It took me that one took me a long time. Like, I did better with the Filipino culture because it was still touchy-feely, but I don't know, I like both. I like both of them in general.
There's also similarities though, isn't it?
Yeah, there are similarities.
I love that. I love
they're
finding the similarities.
They're very different, but there's still similarities in there.
I love finding the similarities in my culture and then in like the other person's culture. I love that.
Like for me and my current partner, I thought it was so funny. I went to his house and they're like, we brought you sugar cane, like the sugar cane juice. And I was like, yeah, we have that. We call it guarapo. And they're like, what? And I'm like, guarapo. And they're like, sugar cane juice? I'm like, yes! We have the same thing. Like, we both like it. Like, there were certain foods that we just, they called it something else and we called it something else. But it was the same thing. Or it was a similar, variation of it. So I'm like, okay, like, there's certain foods that are very similar, or certain ideals that are similar, or, like, it's just a bunch of stuff. And I thought it was really, really cool. And learning all of the, like, how their weddings are, and, like, how, like, they celebrate their holidays. And it's really pretty and unique. Like, you get to see a lot of the different stuff.
Are there things that you've adopted? Like, into your own, like, maybe that you've, like, things in other people's cultures that you actually really enjoyed and have kept for yourself?
Kinda.
For me, it's the food. I love the food.
Oh no, I've adopted. The food was adopted very, very quickly. I don't know how to make the certain dishes, so my partner makes those dishes. Not often, but I would definitely eat them 24/7.
There's for example, there's Vietnamese holidays, right?
Yes.
Are there some that you've adopted now? Since you're a person that's really into holidays.
Oh, I love holidays. Christmas is my favorite, guys. Yeah. Lunar New Year's.
You've adopted that now.
Yeah, I'm not an expert at all. Please understand, I'm not an expert. I follow my partner's rules. Like, he teaches me, and I learn everything. So there's certain things I didn't know about that we currently do. There's actually, and I don't even know the name. Like, we have a specific shrine outside of the house right now, and we give it money every month.
Nice.
And then at the end of the year, apparently I don't know if we split it. I have to ask him, but I don't know if we were supposed to split it, or like it's just for everyone, or I'm not sure how it goes. Yeah. But it's like, I think it's. See, and I'm afraid to say because I don't know.
Yeah, you're still learning.
I don't know. Like, I want to say Buddha, but I know it's not. It's not Mother Buddha. It's not It's. I think it's money. I think it's specifically from money, like
supposed to
wealth for the year,
yeah,
I'm not sure. I could be totally wrong. I really don't know. I have to learn it. But I slowly have been learning. I've been dating him for 6 years. I've been slowly learning it. But we give that specific Buddha money every month. And then at the end of the year, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if we split it or what, but it's something like that. Other things that I've adopted: Lunar New Year's, giving money to anyone younger than me. So you never, if I think it's right, you don't give money to the person older. The
It's to
older
the-
person
yeah.
gives it to the younger.
Yeah.
So I've been adopting that. I guess like buying one new item for yourself. Usually it's red. Yeah, there's certain things to do. I have been taking my shoes off a lot. I mean, I walk barefoot a lot in general. I know my partner's not really fond of that one. I believe he isn't. But I actually like the concept of taking your shoes off before you enter the house. It feels clean to me.
At the beginning of my relationship, I was taking off my shoes a lot, and I naturally just don't like shoes. I don't like shoes. If I could be barefoot all day, I would. But
Yeah, I don't like wearing shoes myself.
I was leaving it at the front door more so, and then one day my sister Snapchatted. No, she put it on Instagram. She put me on blast. Took a picture of my pile of shoes and was like, "When this is how you know your sister's dating a Filipino." And I was like, "Oh, okay, wow, thanks, wow." No, I happened to leave my shoes at the door. That's just what I was doing.
I think
it was coincidental.
The funniest moment, and he didn't know either, and I don't mind expressing it. I learned from it. I apologize, even though they said it was okay. So, you know how we're very affectionate, like, oh, like, let me give you this and let me give you that. I bought his mom flowers, and he didn't even know it himself. He learned himself that day, because he got in trouble for it. I bought his mom the flowers of death.
Wait, what?
Yeah. I was like, they're so pretty. I'm like, will your mom like them? He's like, I don't know, sure. I'm like, okay. So we go, I give her the flowers, and she puts it by the shrine, and I'm like, all right, cool. And I go home, and the next day he's like, I got in trouble. And I'm like, what do you mean? And he's like, apparently you gave my mom the flowers of death. Like, they mean death. And I was like,
kind of flowers
what?
were they?
I think they were, oh my god, they I forgot the name of them. They're like fluffy. They look fluffy. They're really small.
Chrysanthemums?
They look like they're folded almost. They use them a lot in. They come in white, orange.
Peonies?
I don't know the name.
Chrysanthemums, I think. I don't
They're
know.
used a lot in altars.
Oh, like they have the dead altars?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Yeah. But it was a mixture of flowers because there was like roses in there too, and then it had those in them.
Oh no.
So it was a mix of flowers. So all the flowers specifically, but it had those flowers in it. And they're like, why didn't you tell her? And he's like, I didn't know. Like, so I was like, oh, I'm so sorry.
It's all good.
But yeah, that was probably the funniest moment I've had with his family in that sense. Like, I gave his mom the flowers of death.
Okay, so
Yeah.
something I learned about Filipino culture, which is pretty hilarious. Filipinos can eat, and I'm
So
not
can Vietnamese people.
I'm not a huge eater. So here I was thinking this was like late at night. It was like 6. No, it was like not late at night. It was like 6, 7 p.m. I'm at his house, and his mom gives us spaghetti, and she makes bread and stuff. I'm like, oh, this is good, you know. So I'm eating spaghetti, and then like it turns like 10 o'clock. I'm like almost ready to go home too. It's like 10 o'clock, and then she was like, are you staying for dinner? I was like, didn't we have dinner? And she laughs at me and goes, no, that was a snack. I was like, a full plate of food. Bread, spaghetti, like it was a whole ass
So
meal.
you want to laugh?
What?
When I go to his house, I don't get the adult bowl for
Get the
pho.
kid bowl.
I get the kid bowl. And the kid bowl is the size that you would get in a normal restaurant, at least to my eyes. So I get the kiddie bowl.
What's the adult bowl like?
The adult bowl's like this.
A pot?
It's like a pot, yeah. It was like, and like he comes out with his, it's massive. I'm like, how are you gonna eat it? He's like, this is normal. And I was like, it's an everyday meal, and he's eating it, and I'm like, and he brings me mine, and it was the same bowl, and I was like, I'm not gonna finish this. I don't eat this much. I eat like a mouse.
Yeah.
Like in my mind, I think I eat a lot, but when I saw that, I was like, oh, I don't eat anything.
Yeah.
I'm a mouse compared to this.
Yeah.
And I was like, how do I eat this? And I ate half of it. He's like, you ate a kid bowl. Like, you gotta eat the rest. And I'm like, I'm too full. So he ate his whole bowl and the rest of mine. And every time I go, they realize I don't eat that much. So they always give me the kiddie bowl.
The kid bowl.
They always give me the kiddie bowl. And I feel so, like, I don't know. I'm just like, okay, I've accepted it now. But at the beginning, I was like, guys, this suck. I can't finish this. It's too much.
Oh, no.
It's like, and I notice like every time we go, it's not like, oh, you know, like here's like, you know, those, you know, when you set a table, there's like, okay, here's the main course, and it's like maybe let's say meat. Like there's 3 pieces of chicken, right? Like it's all cut up, it's there, and then like, okay, here's some peas or rice or plátanos and whatever. So it's all there, and then like with them, it's a buffet. Like I walk in and it's a buffet.
It's a whole
It's a whole buffet. Like, you got
spread,
shrimp,
right?
you got lobster, you got oysters, you got. I feel like I'm in a 5-star restaurant.
Yeah, it's like a whole spread, right? Yeah.
And it's like, oh well, here's some ribs here, and then here's some seafood here, and you got your protein, and like, and like you got, you know, like it's so much.
And a whole bunch of rice.
At least not all the time.
At least in Filipino culture, there was like a whole bunch. I mean,
like, yes, he does eat rice a lot, but it's not like I don't think they really focus on that. I suppose like their thing to go. I feel like it's a to go thing, especially when it's cold or like it's a big party, because like. Okay, so I don't know how many people are in your family.
Yeah.
But in mine's very small, especially since we're all separated, because I have family in Cuba. Most of them are in Cuba. And I have family in Miami. And then the rest is on my dad's side, which is Europe. They're all in Europe. They're spread out. We have people in Austria, you know, we have people in Ireland. It's just they're not, they don't talk.
Yeah, my family's pretty small too.
Yeah, so like I have 10 people max in my family.
Same. Yeah.
And his, it's like a small gathering is like 150 people. Yeah.
Oh.
It's 150 people for a small gathering. And then it's like, I went to one wedding. And oh my god, I don't even know how many people were there. I feel like there was 300 or more.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's how big his family is.
Whoa.
So when they make pho, it's like, I've seen it, this big pot. And it can feed up to 50 people.
Wow.
That I'm like, it's amazing. It is amazing.
You eat good.
The pho's amazing. I don't mind. I'll eat anything. I'm okay with it. I love food. So when I go there, I think I'll say the most interesting thing I've ever ate in his culture has to be jellyfish.
Oh.
Jellyfish was, I've had alligator. I eat snails. Yeah.
Jellyfish.
Jellyfish was the most interesting.
I'm not an adventurous eater. I feel bad. Like we just had this conversation yesterday. I'm a very picky eater, and yeah. But I've tried. I will say, I've learned new foods, and the willingness to try has grown because I used to not even try things.
Really?
Yeah.
I've always loved doing it. I've had crickets before. Jellyfish is good. Bird nest soup is probably, he said it was expensive, and we had it at the wedding. It's like $100 a bowl.
Bird nest soup?
Bird nest soup. It's really good, actually.
It's just fresh little eggs, basically, or?
I don't, you know what? After this podcast, he can tell you, because
okay,
I don't really know how to explain it.
Right.
But, you know, being in an interracial relationship,
yeah.
It took me out of my comfort zone pretty much.
Sure.
I mean, we went on a long tangent of everything we've experienced, but it took me out of pretty much what I'm used to and what I've grown up with, and actually experienced other cultures and learn. And it's been interesting because I've not only learned his, but I've learned, you know, other, like, as in friends and stuff, I learned other people's cultures. Because when I was younger, I was always hanging out with just Hispanic. All my friends were Hispanic. And then as I grew, I started venturing out, and I actually met more people. I think my friend group is very diverse, and it was interesting. And even to this day, I'm still learning about their cultures as well.
Yeah, like I've taken some things with me, and I've learned a lot. And I'm actually really excited about, you know, just learning about different people and different cultures and their experiences. I like I said earlier, I like finding the similarities, and you know, it's not a scary thing. I think the world's more accepting. It feels scary
sometimes.
Society's a little more accepting, though, I think.
Yeah.
Is like historically, in some places actually. I should be careful with what I say. Yeah, it's a fun experience.
Yeah. So I think pretty much we've gone over everything. There is one more question, but I
Yeah.
mean we kind of already talked about it. It's when do you need to walk away? But we've already kind of talked about
Yeah,
that.
I think we're wrapping up in
Yeah,
a good way.
with
I think love is however you perceive it to be. I think love is how you define it. Make sure that you're kind to yourself first. Make sure that you love yourself first. Make sure that you're taking care of yourself always, even during a relationship, and that you're not giving so much of yourself away. Um, and just be respectful and be kind to your person, and um,
understand each other. Have a
understand
middle
each other
ground.
and understand when it's time to walk away. Understand when it's also time to maybe stay and fight. Don't always let go so easily.
Especially because there's sometimes where you might be going through a hard time and other people will put you down for it, and they don't realize that this relationship might make you happy or is actually going somewhere, but just because they don't see it at the moment or they're not there for the struggle, they don't understand.
And for those looking to date, take the leap of faith.
Yeah.
Invest in yourself in terms of like, am I ready? And then go out and see what happens. There might be a lot of rejections, there might be a lot of yeses. You never know. It's just you gotta try, and there's gonna be some failed attempts. You might take someone on the worst first date ever, and that's okay. You learn from it, and you go on to the next, and maybe they'll be forgiving, and they'll be like, you know what, that was like the worst date ever, but it was fun. Let's go on a second date.
Yeah, and also you remember that sometimes you have to fail to succeed.
Yeah.
And you don't. It's not gonna be like that,
you know.
And if it is, woohoo! But it's a learning process, and hopefully whatever we have said has helped you realize things, or maybe ask more questions about whatever you're going through. And we're always here to pretty much support everyone that talks with us and talk ourselves as well.
Yeah.
So
let's talk about love.
So you guys know we will be airing on the 13th of November. It will be 2, right? Or are we gonna do a different time?
We will talk about it. We will talk about it.
Okay, we'll let you know the times on our Insta stories. But it will be on the 13th, which is a Saturday, November 13th. And we hope to see you all there, and thank you for watching, and I hope you're having a wonderful evening or wonderful morning, afternoon, wherever you are from. Bye, guys.